Read the Documents live stream. Your host, John Brisson. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you want to support my work, buy me a coffee / We've Read. If you want to subscribe to my work, search We've Read the Documents on Odyssey, Patreon, Substack, and Rumble. Substack gives you the greatest access to my content. You get my written work, my essays, and my books, as well as you get access to my Spotify streams. You can listen to my video podcasts in audio form. My fellow brother in Christ and I, Jeremy Stone, have a Christian podcast, By Their Fruits. You can subscribe on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast at. All right, so we're going to continue my series on is 2025, the externalization of the hierarchy. Epstein disclosure to the masses begins part 4. Okay, this is a continuing series on discussing the intricacies of the Virginia Roberts Giuffre part of the Epstein case, and also the mysteries and why certain things don't add up. So here we have a post from Amanda Roberts. Hello world, we received news today there's a protest in D.C. while spending time with family and celebrating our sister. We're going through journal entries that Virginia had written over the years and stumbled upon this quote and thought it was a beautiful moment to share with all of you. Survivors should know that she's with you and her voice will not be silenced. I know that is so important, and her wish is that we continue to fight. Her words are, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers need to show the battle lines are drawn and stand together to fight for the future of victims. Protesting the answer? I don't know, but we got to start somewhere. To all survivors and those protesting, we stand with you in solidarity and know the fight is not over. Supposedly, this is her suicide note. People have been saying, and it's been kind of pushing this protest narrative, this Great Awakening protest narrative. Okay, so here is Virginia Roberts Giuffre's father, Skye Roberts, on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Okay, so we're going to discuss this for a moment. All right, let's begin.
About this. Mr. Roberts, thank you very much indeed for joining me on Uncensored, and my deepest sympathies to you and your entire family over what has happened to Virginia.
Thank you.
It's an awful tragedy, and it ends a life of tragedy in many ways for your daughter. First of all, tell me about your reaction when you heard that she'd taken her life.
Well, first of all, I couldn't even believe it. I started crying right away. I'm still crying. I can't believe that this is happening. It's impossible. And then for them to say that she committed suicide, there's no way that she did. Somebody got to her.
Let me just ask you, Mr. Roberts.
Remember, Virginia Roberts Giuffre has had a strained relationship off and on with her father, with her parents. She ran away from home. She was abused by allegedly a family friend while she was a teenager, and then later was sexually abused when she had run away from home. And we have to remember that Skye Roberts was working at Mar-a-Lago as a handyman. You know, that was where Ghislaine Maxwell, met Virginia Roberts. And she was later trafficked, while under, her father working at Mar-a-Lago even years afterwards, and still continued to work for Trump and getting a recommendation when he left Mar-a-Lago directly from Trump. I covered that in my last video, and you can see my PowerPoint presentation on Substack with all the sources and everything like that. So I've always looked at Skye Roberts skeptically. I believe that he is covering up for Donald Trump, and Virginia Roberts Giuffre talks about that she had never saw Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein during the years that she was trafficked, when we know very well that Donald Trump was very good with Jeffrey Epstein at that time. It was before the Abe Gossman estate, early 2000s. She's a liar. Okay?
How much contact did you have with Virginia in recent years?
Not a lot. I haven't spoke to her in years, but I think that she basically liked to try to protect me because she knew a lot of things about a lot of powerful people. And to me, she's just protecting me that I don't get involved in any of it. Like I say, when she was here, we were together all the time. and doing a lot of things together. She was on her own to go against Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Prince Andrew. She was on her own this whole time. You know, I'm not saying it's a way to earn money or anything, but she's just trying to make these people pay for what they did.
Did she have
But she had a family and a husband, kids. She wasn't alone, Skye. And it's very interesting still the strained relationship with him, right?
ever talked to you about Prince Andrew before it became?
She also had people who looked up to her, people who interacted with her, people who were friends with her, that she had friends, people who loved her, She was a so-called great advocate for the Epstein victims and became one of the most wealthy advocates for the Epstein victims, right? So, her dad is just... He said a lot of weird things. I've covered it in my Substack, walking back that Virginia Roberts Giuffre ever met the Queen, and she was excited to meet Prince Andrew. He's just made weird statements over the years. He's just a weird man.
Became public knowledge.
Yes.
Yes, a little. Yeah, she was there in London with Prince Andrew and Miss Maxwell.
Because one of my other guests here in the studio in London has produced photographs from the property where that infamous picture was taken of Virginia with Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell in the background, and says that it proves to her
you can't fit
that the picture must have been faked in some way. But do you have any doubt that Virginia was there at the time and had sex with Prince Andrew?
Personally, I don't have proof of it, but Virginia sent the original picture, so I know it wasn't faked, but the original picture of Prince Andrew and her with Ghislaine Maxwell in the background. So I know that's true, that she was there with him.
She showed you that picture, did you say?
Yes. My mom had an 8x10.
And when did she first show you that?
This infamous picture that everybody knows about.
Many years ago when it happened.
But before it became public knowledge?
Yes. I knew nothing about it. I mean, I didn't even know she was, doing all these things for Jeffrey Epstein.
How did you feel when you discovered that?
I was really angry with Jeffrey Epstein because she had...
Not angry at Trump, though. Not angry at Trump. Especially, he wouldn't... is Virginia Roberts talking about the allegations between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein and Katie Johnson privately? Is she discussing, does Katie Johnson even exist? What about Maria Farmer's so-called claims about Ivana? Not Ivana. And drive around in a limousine, right? Ivana Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell looking for underage girls for models in a limousine, whether you believe Maria Farmer or not, because of Johnny Vedmore's reporting on the Pottinger connections between Maria Farmer and the lawyers and everything for Virginia Roberts Giuffre and Maria Farmer. But she's still, he's like, I'm mad at Epstein. I didn't know anything was going on. Really? You were that blind at Mar-a-Lago where the girls were being trafficked, where they were being taken? Virginia Roberts later does masseuse training. It's not adding up there, Skye.
He told me later on that, he had threatened that if she had said anything, that he had the power to do anything he wanted to her family. I mean, I met Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't let her go to work for him unless I met him. But he seemed like a normal person. I mean, he came out, I went to his mansion, and he came out in jeans and a T-shirt and just acted like a regular person.
Jeffrey Epstein just acted like a regular person. I just let my daughter travel the world with Jeffrey Epstein. He's wealthy. I'm working for Donald Trump. These are just regular people. And I never saw Donald Trump ever at the Epstein mansion, even though I was supposedly frequently talking with Donald Trump, even if it was, at work at Mar-a-Lago, but supposedly, allegedly, he may have had a personal relationship with Donald Trump as well, too. So, somehow I just missed all these times that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were together or talked or whatever when I worked for Donald Trump for years. And, I knew Jeffrey and met Jeffrey, but he just seemed like he was just a normal guy. He was just a shirt and jeans. He's a normal guy, right? And Jeffrey Epstein is normal.
I had no idea. I mean, you don't know who you're talking to, you know.
And
I'm just still upset about this thing.
Virginia never told you about the abuse that she was enduring?
No, never. Nothing. I think
before.
I don't
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Like I say, if she was to say
seeing
something,
the composite image,
No.
there was no.
No,
real
but the
photo.
point is, Mr. Roberts is saying no. But hang on, he's
I
saying
also
he's saying Victoria very clearly
He saw an
that she
image,
showed him the
a
picture
picture.
before it was made public knowledge,
Yeah.
Before the mail got it.
which I think is a significant statement by her
Well,
father.
I don't.
Yeah, can I ask you,
Does he really remember dates?
Mr. Roberts? Can I ask you, in relation to Prince Andrew, when it was revealed that he was not going to have his day in court, as he kept saying he wanted, with Virginia, and that he was actually going to instead pay her a very large check, many millions of dollars. Did you have any conversation with her about that, or was that after you had become estranged?
that was probably after, I think. But I mean, to me and everybody here, I mean, it kind of admits guilt when you do that, when you pay somebody off like that. Just, when Jeffrey Epstein paid, when Maxwell paid, it's admitting guilt. I mean, why would he spend 12 or 15 million to give to her?
What's your view of Prince Andrew?
12 to 15 million Virginia Roberts Giuffre was paid. What about all the other victims? The girls that we never hear about. Katie Johnson got no money. Katie Johnson didn't get paid. What about all the rest of them? Huh? They get paid? Virginia Roberts Giuffre, such the big victim advocate, right? We read the Great Awakening letter from her family beforehand, but she's the poster child of the Epstein victims, right? I guess I'm not allowed to be suspicious and question these things. She's the one that's paraded around, and is there a possibility that she's covering up for Trump? Her father's covering up for Trump. Was it monetary? Were they threatened? We'll never know. It will be proven later that she was false, or will her allegations be substantiated against Alan Morton Dershowitz or Prince Andrew? These are questions that we should be asking. I don't know if we'll ever get the answers. Well, these are questions that we should be asking. It's not that I disbelieve Virginia Roberts Giuffre's entire story. I don't. But there are holes. There are things that don't make sense. Her lawyers were... There's a lot of questions around her lawyers.
Scumbag.
Well, yeah, I don't care for him at all. I mean, he's I guess a powerful, royal figure, and they just think he can do what he wants to do.
And to people like my guest, Victoria Hervey here, who do not believe that your daughter told the truth.
I'm really sorry for what.
David Boies and Bradley Edwards, there's a lot of questions. A lot of questions. And so, I mean, it's not like I don't believe anything that she said, but, the Victims Refuse Silence, being a nonprofit organization in the United States, and then later being changed to Speak Out, Act and Reclaim, or SOAR, and again, all the other victims. And then there's a lot of victims that call out Virginia Roberts Giuffre, but a lot of them solidarily stand behind her.
Your family has gone through, and I'm sorry that you were estranged from her. And I feel like she should have, helped you out and other family members more.
Well, I never asked for any help from her. I am happy the way I am. Yeah, I don't have a lot of money. I'm on Social Security, but I'm happy.
Yeah, but I feel like it would have been nice if her or someone could have got your flight, so at least you could have seen her recently.
Well, I
So I'm
didn't know
sorry
until
about that.
recently that they were living in separate houses. If I'd have known they were living in separate houses, I do. I have means. I can get the money if I need it. I can borrow it and get to Australia. And if I'd have known that they were living in separate houses, I would have been there because I just couldn't go there with her husband there because I know how that ends every time. Like I say, I've been there probably 4 or 5 times, and every time it ended bad with him. So I know I couldn't go there as long as they were living together.
So now they're trying to paint Robert Guffrey. We might do a stream on Robert Guffrey, but there's not a lot of information out there about Robert Guffrey. It's very difficult to find. It's not very easy at all. Period. But I think it's something that we should look into, or at least try to attempt start looking into. They've been separated since 2025, and and he was she's going through her custody battle with the 3 children with Robert Guffrey, and she's undergoing a divorce with him as well too. And he was a karate instructor, and there was restraining order and whole might go more of it in substance as it continues. But I've seen a lot of people try to research him, and there's not a lot of information. I mean, she met Robert Guffrey in Thailand. It was like the International Training Massage School there, and he was an Australian martial arts trainer. And they married very quickly when they met in 2002. And then he broke off that's when Virginia Roberts Guffrey broke off contact with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And I don't know, man. His story's a little odd.
And now I just found out, that she was living at a farm and he's living at their beachside, the home that they have there.
Yeah.
And just say that nobody's seen the kid.
It must have been lonely for her.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes,
Mr. Roberts, how would you like your daughter to be remembered? There's so much being written about her at the moment, but how would you like her to be remembered?
as someone who actually got out of a bad situation and made a good situation out of it, that she was helping a lot of other young girls that were feeling the pain of what goes on with people like that. You see it every day. I mean, with the illegals and everything else that's been in our country. And,
Skye Roberts brings up illegal immigration as an issue. False Great Awakening.
I think she's...
I'm not saying it's not, but it's just why bring that up in relation to institutionalized pedophilia blackmail rings like Epstein, right?
strong, very strong. And that's why I don't think she committed suicide. She had too much to live for. She had her foundation.
And to those
So
who
I wanted to be remembered as a very strong-willed person that
So
and to
still
those,
gonna do a lot of good.
and to those, Mr. Roberts, who doubt her word and think she was lying, what do you say to them?
what I
People thinks she was lying.
Yeah, some people do, including one of my
Well,
guests.
no, like I feel terribly like you're obviously seeing Skye here, but I do remember, Skye, you said to actually, I think it might have been Piers Morgan, or it was a breakfast show where you said that she told good stories, like she basically had lied a lot in her life, so you didn't believe everything she told you.
I don't think I ever
Yeah,
said that.
it was on
I
a
know I was
breakfast
on Good
show.
Morning Britain.
Yeah, there's
Yes, I was
quotes.
on Good Morning Britain.
Yeah, Pyramid 7 says martial art instructors are usually one extreme or another, either super nice or super aggressive. Yeah, I've heard that as well, too.
But I believed everything she said. I mean, she was my daughter, and yeah, I know kids lie. Most kids do. But you usually can tell. I could never lie to my father, ever. And she knew that, and I told her, never lie to me, never.
See, that's double-mindedness and a contradictory statement there, because he said that all kids lie, but yet she can't never lie to her father, and I never lied to my father. Skye Roberts is always all over the place and contradictory in what he says.
Say anything that you can't say to me, just tell me the truth.
Well, Mr. Roberts, listen, I really appreciate you coming on the program tonight, and you've said a lot of things, and it'll raise a lot of questions. But I really appreciate it. And I have to remember you're a father who's lost a daughter. And as a father of a daughter myself, it's an unimaginable loss, notwithstanding the complexities of your relationship over the years. So I just want to extend again on behalf of everyone here our deepest condolences to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for saying that.
Thank you. Let me bring Maureen back on this. I mean, that was a very shocking, powerful, moving interview with her father. But clearly, the whole family dynamic is complicated.
Sad.
We knew that, and very sad. What did you make of that?
I really appreciated how he asserted his dignity when it came to whether he could afford to fly to Australia. I also think that we all need to keep in mind that with people who have been historic victims of childhood sexual abuse, as Virginia clearly was, of course, her relationship with her father would have been complicated because nobody was clearly around to protect her. This is just my opinion. And when somebody does suffer this kind of abuse throughout the bulk of their life, some stories won't add up, some stories won't track. We saw this really brilliantly executed in the Harvey Weinstein trial in New York, when some of these sexual assault victims took the stand and had to explain why, after they alleged that Harvey had raped them, they sent emails which were submitted in court as evidence to Harvey from them saying, "Would love to see you again. Come and meet my mother." And we had an
All right. Yeah, discrepancies within Harvey Weinstein's case, discrepancies within majority of cases where rape and molestation, though how tragic they are involved, especially when it deals with someone who is powerful, someone who is an elite member of some sort. So yeah, we're going to continue investigating Virginia Roberts Giuffre, and I think this her quote unquote suicide, her death quote unquote, will lead to an increasing Epstein disclosure to the masses, which has continued throughout this year, right? So I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon, nor do I think it's going to slow down. So we need to keep looking into Virginia Roberts Giuffre and her story and try to sift out what was accurate and what was not, and try to find, if she did, where the cover-up for Donald Trump occurred, if all possible. And I'm not the only one doing this. There are a lot of people out there who are researching Jeffrey Epstein or researching Virginia Roberts Giuffre. But most believe her 100%, or that they don't look at Donald John Trump's vast connections to Jeffrey Epstein or Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s vast connections to Jeffrey Epstein, which I've covered on this channel extensively. I'm one of the few researchers that do. Not to say that I'm the only one. I am not. So yeah, if you got anything that you want to send me to look at as far as Virginia Roberts Giuffre is concerned, or Epstein's connections to Donald Trump, or Epstein's connections to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you can send that to me. We've read the documents at protonmail.com. I would definitely take a look at it. But again, Skye Roberts, his stories don't add up. He's had to retract things in the past, the things that he said, like I mentioned earlier. Virginia Roberts Giuffre's story doesn't add up. Do I believe that she was trafficked and molested by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? Yes. Do I believe that she's likely covering up for Donald Trump? Yes. Do I believe that she was molested or raped by certain prominent figures like Alan Morton Dershowitz and John Luke Brunel? Yes. But again, as researchers, even if we're dealing with something as tragic as child molestation and rape and abuse, we do have to be objective to the best of our abilities. And we need to parse through what is accurate and what is not, with the utmost care if all possible. But that's all I have to say on this. Take care, everyone. God bless.